Should we go straight into spoilers? We all said that we like the film, so it's all good. So go watch this. If you haven't watched this film, you have to go watch it. And watching in the cinema was great because, like, although I feel like people were a bit too excited, but it was nice. It was nice, you know. Someone was smoking weed, and it's just like, could you not wait a couple of hours?
Cinema, I didn't, mate.
People are just forever in bondage with weed, like. Just like for 2 hours, you can't wait 2 hours. You have to smoke in the cinema. What's wrong with you? Yeah, like the energy was really great as well in the cinema, even though like COVID was in the air, you know. But you know, God has protected us. We're all masked up for the most part. So yeah, spoilers. Cool. Let's go from let's talk about the film in detail. So the beginning of the film. Where what happens is basically the spell. I've already talked about the spell and everything. And what's so funny about it, yeah? What I found really funny is the fact that let's talk about the first big reveal, right? So Peter's identity is being revealed, and then there's two sides of it. There's, you know, like the people that agree that, you know, that he's a criminal, and then people that are supportive of him. And he has to go see a lawyer. Now what happens is that he's at home with his aunt. Like people are throwing bricks through his window and all that kind of stuff, and they're just like being dicks, really. And so he's speaking to a lawyer, and then you see a cane and then red glasses, and you're like, oh snap! It's Matt Murdock. And that was what the rumors were saying, that he's going to be in the film. But I was just like, you guys are stretching a bit. But you know, he was in the film, and you're like, great. And not only is it Matt Murdock, is the guy that played Daredevil in the Netflix series, which is why people in the cinema were like so excited, because just like he plays Daredevil so well, like he really commits to like his role, and people really like him. So that was nice to see, you know. Like what did you like, Elijah? What was your? You can't just stare at me. No, you can't just stare at me, bro.
You just stopped like, talking. You didn't
I mean, it's not me just talking, bro. You have to also.
You have to cue other people to talk.
I'm not always gonna ask you a question. Just jump in, bro. I'm not flipping. I'm not just
interrupt you.
I don't care. Just interrupt me, bro. I don't.
No, when I saw Matt Murdock, I turned to you. I was like, "Oh shit, Matt Murdock, fam! They brought him in." But yeah, it's interesting. At least they hinted that he's part obviously he's part of the MCU now. It might be the next phase, because you know the next phase with Blade, and he'll probably come into that Daredevil, and well, I can't even talk about the other spoiler.
I think it's just, if anything, I think it's kind of added credence to. It might just mean that his TV show is now canon, because I think.
Or soft canon.
I think I saw something that did they show Kingpin in this film? I think I saw something where they showed like a flash of Kingpin in one of the like newspaper articles that they were showing. You know, when they're showing Spiderman is Peter Parker, blah, 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 and then somewhere in like somewhere else they would have shown. Anyhow, I think it's just kind of giving credence to maybe those Netflix series are now part of the actual canon. So maybe you might see Luke Cage, you might see that other woman that was
Jessica
Jones, yeah. So we'll see. I know that they take the series. They took the series off Netflix for a while ago. I think they've put them back on now.
It's back now, yeah.
Yeah, but
okay.
But yeah, no, that was nice to see. Like you said, it's probably going to. They're probably going to use that for. They're gonna probably gonna add his character to other stuff as well now. Just like you said with Blade, I think they're gonna do the same in Mobius as well. I think the Mobius is supposed to be in the MCU, but anyhow, yes.
Yeah, that was cool. And when he's like, "Oh, Peter and the other kids are fine, absolutely fine, and May is fine," but he's like, "But Happy, you're gonna need a really good lawyer because I can't help you." Well, I have a feeling that Happy might be in the She-Hulk series because of that. because She-Hulk is a lawyer, so he might end up being in the She-Hulk thing, and she might end up being his lawyer. That's just me guessing.
But why does he need a lawyer now?
Because I can't remember. I think everyone was cheering, so I didn't really hear what Matt said about everyone else but Happy.
Because I would have thought because of the end of the film, they wouldn't have... See, this is one thing I kind of don't understand about the spell. Is it that it makes them forget Peter Parker, but it doesn't make they don't forget Spider-Man. They just forget Peter Parker, and any relation. It's just weird. It's such a weird thing because any relation that people might have to Peter Parker, like let's say Aunt May knows Happy through Peter Parker.
Let's get on to that. We'll get on to that. Let's try and get through like the different stages of the film. So we have the Matt Murdock scene, and then someone throws a brick through the window, and Peter is about to catch it, but then Matt Murdock catches it instead. And then Peter's looking at him like,
"How did you do that?
How did you do that?" He's like, I'm a great lawyer." And he just leaves it at that. It's like, wait, what? Are you not going to think about like the fact that this blind guy just caught it? But I guess you have enough trouble going on in your life, so.
Yeah, another thing that they kind of pointed out, I can't remember what scene, when they kind of said, "Oh, where's Nick Fury? Can't he help?" And they were like, "Oh, he's out somewhere." So
they said he's been off-world.
He's been off-world for over a year now.
The one that they saw was...
Secret Wars is part of the MCU as well. Because you know there was some rumors about, you don't need to watch the TV series really to watch to understand the films. But clearly Secret Wars is linked to that if they said he's out somewhere.
But we saw that in the post-credits of Far From Home, though.
Yeah.
That he was a Skrull. That he was flipping the Skrull from Captain Marvel.
And because he's in the other, he speaks to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So, but that's why Peter Parker was like, "Huh? What do you mean he's off world?"
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So we already kind of knew that. But I guess it just gives it more credence, I guess.
Yeah. What did you guys think? Okay, so let's go on to the spell, because we know that Peter Parker's life gets messed up, blah, blah, blah. There's not much spoilers in there. But when they were doing the spell and he walks into the sanctum and it's ice, what I found really funny was that Doctor Strange isn't actually the Sorcerer Supreme anymore.
It's Wang, yeah.
Wang, is Wong?
Wong,
what's his name?
Wong.
Wong, yeah. He's the Sorcerer Supreme by default.
Yeah, I mean that explains all the other stuff. Well, not other stuff, but it just explains why he's in the other, like Shang-Chi and all those other films.
Yeah,
us seeing
being Doctor Strange. Yeah, and so he's like, and then the fact that in the trailers they kind of threw us off because they were saying, "Oh, Wong was like, don't do that spell," and then walks off. But in this thing, he's actually like, "Just don't involve me.
Just don't involve me in your BS."
Yeah. And the people were just like, "Oh, it's not like Doctor Strange to be doing a spell like this." I'm just like, no, it's totally like Doctor Strange to be doing a spell like this. But yeah, he's just like, he was supposed to help Peter out.
Those things have consequences, as we'll talk about.
Consequences, man. That's what my favorite thing about this film is consequences. So yeah, he's doing the spell, and then it's not like he couldn't do the spell the way Peter wanted, though.
I mean, Peter just was into.
But it's just the fact that Peter just wouldn't shut the hell up.
He kept adding conditions. Strange was actually...
He was actually adding them.
Yeah, because we were saying, why can't Doctor Strange do this without... Even though Peter is interrupting him. But he was just putting in the spells and adding more conditions, which was making the spell more complicated. And eventually it just got too much to handle.
And he actually contained it as well. But a few people snuck through. Yeah. So speaking of that, when Peter is basically on the bridge, first the reveal of Dr. Octopus. The fight with Dr. Octopus. What were your thoughts on that?
I think it was cool because we saw that in the trailers anyway, so it's not much of a surprise.
But I wasn't sure how he was gonna end, because like you can see that his Iron Spider suit, his nano suit, basically ends up on the Dr. Octopus, but we weren't sure how it was going to work. But the way he actually beat him was quite funny, because it was just like, first he ripped off, the chest. So Peter's chest was exposed. But when he was about to kill him, and stab him in the chest. Peter, I didn't really realize this until later. Peter took his mask, the nano particles from his mask, and put it on his chest. That's why his face was revealed. So he was replacing the hole, and that's when Dr. Octopus was like, "Oh, you're not Peter." But then the needle that he tried to stab him with was bent because it's not strong enough to penetrate, you know. And then they started controlling him.
Yeah, paired in like a Bluetooth device.
And then it's just like, this guy's actually not a threat for like most of the film.
Yeah,
He's just wrapping it. Which is quite funny. And then you have like, then Green Goblin, sick, like so good.
He was one of my favorites.
So good in this film. The guy's like 66, you know.
He did half of his stunts. He wouldn't come back if they don't allow him to do his stunts, which is mad because he's an old man. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
I like how he built
Killed
his
the role,
character.
man.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. How he went
Proper
from
killed
him being controlled by the Goblin and the serum, and him trying to be himself or wanting to change, and then he takes over again. He just ends up being.
I actually completely forgot that dynamic as well. That he doesn't like being the Goblin.
Yeah, it's not a bad. That's the thing. All of the villains, they're all like type 2 villains in terms of something really bad happened to them has either kind of changed their psyche or something. You don't really have the evil for evil's sake villains apart from. No, I can't even think of one in an entire franchise of like an actual. I just want to be evil because Mysterio.
Mysterio is just a dick.
Mysterio is just a dick. But even then,
Tony Stark created him, didn't it? So
Stark created him because he fired him because he was a bit eccentric and he was, a bit of a rule breaker.
Yeah,
so.
but he was always tapped. So that's.
But he's the most naturally he's more of a dick than everyone else. Everyone is like, oh, I've got to save my family, I've got to save my daughter, or my mind has been warped because of some experimentation or something. Like that. So
yeah, so let's fast forward a bit. He's basically Doctor Strange comes back and he's like done this thing where they have to Scooby Doo the thing, like he said, basically just capturing the villains and putting them in a vault, and using magic basically. And I think what I'm going to ask is basically, what did you think about the villains generally, like with Electro? Elijah, you were saying that you didn't understand why he was all clean cut and stuff like that.
Yeah, Electro was a bit his character, because if you know the character of Max Dillon in the Andrew Garfield trilogy, he only had 2 films, but in that bit he was a bit of like this eccentric geek. He was like socially awkward, couldn't really talk to anyone, and he just wanted to be the guy that was remembered. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Then
he turns into Electro in the film, and then he's like a completely different person. He just wants to. First he goes for, I want to be remembered, and then I just want to be the guy and stuff. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Then he comes over to this multiverse. He gets electrocuted now, and now he's got like a nice clean cut. Okay, that makes sense lore-wise because the energy changed him.
Yeah.
But he's no longer that awkward, Max Dillon that he was in the film previous. He's almost like he's playing Jamie Foxx. He's playing himself.
Yeah.
And it just felt like that characterization was a bit weird.
To be fair, I think I don't know why he was in the film in the first place. Because he doesn't know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, so he shouldn't have been in that film.
No, he does in the end. No, he does. He does when he's captured, and then Harry Osborn goes in there and says, "I want you to be Spider-Man." So that's how he knows that he's.
So then I'm thinking, why is it that at the end of this film, he's like, "Oh, I expected you to be black."
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a plot hole. Okay.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, that's actually a plot hole.
Interesting. I think I'm gonna have to look at it again because it's just like that's a massive plot hole because it brings in people that know that he's Peter Parker.
Yeah, if anything, why didn't they just bring in Harry Osborn? And Electro.
But there would have been 2 Green Goblins, but yeah.
Goblins, yeah.
Isn't Harry supposed to be the Hobgoblin? Who's the Hobgoblin?
He's the Green. He's the Green Goblin.
But I'm thinking, who's the Hobgoblin though?
Well,
I don't know. Is he
rumored to be Ned in this multiverse, but they kind of played a round of him being a villain as a joke. So I don't think he's gonna be a Hobgoblin. But,
that's so funny. That we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that. Like, well, I think the whole thing, like,
I don't know why. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why Electro.
But I like that they picked him. It's just that it didn't make sense.
yeah,
That part doesn't
Yeah.
make sense because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be people that remember him.
Doesn't
But that being
really
said,
make
even when they were showing like different the other people, like I guess this is from different other universes though, so maybe it's different. But when they were showing like people like Scorpion and Rhino and all of them, I'm thinking, do they know that he's Peter Parker? But I'm guessing in some alternative
from
universe,
some
that we
other
don't know,
universe, yeah.
then
Yeah.
they do know. So
Yeah. The fight with Doctor Strange.
That was
I actually,
such a good
I really like that fight.
That was such a good fight.
Because the whole disagreement is Doctor Strange wants to send them back to their universe where they die, and Peter Parker is like, no, like, well, after talking to Aunt May, he's like, no, like, this isn't right. So he's trying to take the device that does it from Doctor Strange. That fight was smart. It was actually a really smart thing, and the way the way Peter Parker beat him was just using maths.
Magic.
Which is pretty cool. I love the fact that they just really showed how smart Peter Parker actually is in this film.
Because he is actually a genius.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that's how
he
he
is.
makes the web fluid and everything. And he actually helps to try and cure the lizard. And
Yeah, it's actually not like it's not. It's like, let's actually fix them, which was quite a very good thing to add to the plot, rather than saying, oh, let's just send them back and stuff like that.
But
he's actually trying to
that's
fix
the thing.
them.
I don't understand because let's say Dr. Octopus, he dies, doesn't he, in the other film, and so does Green Goblin.
Yeah,
So then why are they back?
they basically got pulled from the moment they were gonna die,
or
pulled from a very
before
before they were gonna kill Peter Parker.
Because
So go on then, I just sorry.
No. So I was gonna say, because it's not just moments before. It's kind of sometime before their final arc where they pass away. Because you have Doc Ock with the the Octopus arms were still controlling him. So obviously it was before the final arc where it actually breaks the piece and he's himself again. So they pulled them between moments, not moments before, a significant time before they actually pass away. Because obviously Electro is died, but he's still alive. Sandman never died, so it doesn't matter. Even though me and Demi argued about that, but Sandman never.
Yeah, Sandman and Lizard never died. And Lizard never died, but Lizard actually changed back to a human.
Oh, was he arrested?
Yeah, he was arrested.
Oh.
I think they were going to do something, because in the post credits of that, I think he was supposed to be part of the Sinister Six. He got recruited by someone, and then obviously there was no.
Oh yeah, he didn't die. Yeah, I remember,
he got turned back to a human, so I didn't
back
really.
to normal. So
yeah,
but then obviously it was moments. It was way before that actually happened. So it was before the final arcs of all of these guys' demises or.
No, before they were about to kill, thing.
So,
it's just So that was.
It makes sense. That bit isn't a plot hole.
Yeah, but I'm just. It still doesn't But does Spider-Man have memories of killing them, or of them dying before they did, or were they also pulled? No, they weren't pulled from before. They can't have been pulled from before as well, because.
Why not?
Because the Peter Parker that we see, the Tobey Maguire one, talks about how he made it work with Mary Jane and all of that. So that's clearly in the future.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter though, because remember when Doc Ock was saying, "Oh, Green Goblin, why are you here? You're dead." It doesn't. They'll pulled before they died, but those events still happened in their timeline. So they know that. Oh, even though they've died in certain timelines, it doesn't matter. They'll just pull that the moments when those events didn't take place.
Yeah.
Because obviously it could be like, oh well, if this guy didn't die, then he there would have never been a Dr. Octopus. Later on, Spider-Man would have never fought him. Blah 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 blah. Obviously, but it's not. Well, time travel is weird. Timelines are weird, man. But,
it's a lot to think about. Let's Aunt May. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying not to say anything too loud because Sean just got home. I don't want him to hear any of the spoilers, so he better not be listening. So, Aunt May. R.I.P. bruv.
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
R.I.P.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I thought she would survive. I was just like, oh, maybe she's just badly injured.
When she started
Concussed.
saying I'm okay, I'm like,
Yeah, nah, I saw the way.
Yeah.
I could catch my breath. Go catch my. No, you're fucking dying.
What did you think about her saying the great power, great responsibility thing?
Apparently, that's taken from the first comic, where you hear.
Oh, is it her that says it?
No, it's not her who says it, but the way she said it. Because usually we hear, oh, with great power comes great responsibility, but she said with great power, there also she added an extra phrase to it.
Yeah.
Which is apparently supposed to be taken from like the first time you actually hear that phrase.
Yeah,
that's how it's said. I just find it interesting.
It makes sense for it to be her.
Yeah,
to be honest,
is that like every iteration of like the recent Spider-Man, she dies. Like even in the game, she dies. But sorry if I'm spoiling it for you guys. You guys should have played the Spider-Man game by now. It was a really good game, by the way. But yeah.
But one more day is based off that anyway.
Yeah.
Him trying to save her.
To try and bring her back.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. It was sad though. Like it's just the way she died though. Like, rah.
It's because I guess I kind of feel for Peter at the same time because if he would have done what Doctor Strange had said in the beginning, just let them all go and not listen to Aunt May, then she wouldn't have been killed. Yeah,
it's a turning point, man. Like that's why I like this film so much. It's just like, now this kid is about to grow the hell up, because it's just like, he's a kid, but like he's had to grow up so fast in this film. Like, boy, like now I'm like, this is. So just the way they wrote it, man, it just made, it's like all the three films has just been about him learning really important lessons, and this is the like hardest lesson he had to learn, because we didn't have that context in the other variations of Spider-Man. We had that context that he has to make big sacrifices, and when he loses people and stuff. For this one, you don't really, Tony Stark, but it's not. It still doesn't hit home the way like it hit in this one. So like,
and I think he also
needed this to happen.
I think he also sees the seriousness of people knowing who he is. Like even his own loved ones, like knowing is not like the best thing, because it's just not good. And like I said, he's had to grow up fast, and now it's gotten to the point where he's virtually alone. Yeah, because none of the Avengers know. Nobody. No one basically knows who he is.
Nobody knows who he is. He's just by himself.
But they don't know that it's Peter Parker.
No, and it's not like, they don't know Peter Parker Spider-Man. Nobody knows who the hell Peter Parker is. Nobody.
Also,
that's what the spell does.
I had one more thing to say though. No one, I said this to Elijah in the cinema, no one noticed that Jonah Jameson has been the same guy in all, I think it's the first Spider-Man. I'm not sure about if we see him in the second one.
No, we don't know.
But this first and last Spider-Man is pretty much the same guy, and no one's noticed. They should have brought that up to wow.
They should have made him like.
It would have been funny for Tobey Maguire to be like Mr. Jameson, because he's his boss at the Daily Bugle. But they never interacted, so yeah.
Let's talk about the reveal of the other two then, like how they came in and the interaction between them and stuff like that. What did you think about the way they revealed them?
They did a very good job. I think even the characters just made more sense. Like, our biggest complaints about especially Andrew Garfield's character was that he was too cool. Yeah, but it doesn't feel like actual Peter Parker. What I like about this film is that they added context to that to say, no, they're not all going to be the same. Yeah. Even to the point where like MJ is not the same MJ. It's completely different names. I think she just has the Watson, but other than that, like the names are different. And then there's no like, they just show that they are vastly different. Just because they might be, just like how there's no Osborn in the other two universes. No, there's no Oscorp in the last universe. And there's seemingly no magic in the other universes, the first
other superheroes.
Yeah. So it was like it just adds so those complaints we had about Andrew Garfield not feeling like Peter Parker, we can now say, it does feel like Peter Parker. It's just a different Peter Parker, and I like it.
It's a bit of a retcon, but yeah, I hear
Yeah.
Yeah,
because obviously
but you have to kind of do that, innit? Because it's not gonna.
But it was a good retcon. It wasn't one that I thought, this is just dumb. It made sense because it's a multiverse.
Yeah, it really redeemed it for him. I feel like that the film redeemed like his portrayal of the character, because like out of the three, I enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, I
like the way like his fighting style is different to the other ones. Like
he actually felt like the like I remember
like the boxing thing he does. It's just it's so sick.
I remember the fight that he had with Lizard in the first one that he did, and there was one part where he was like crawling around Lizard, and it's like, that's like what a natural spider would do. Like it was cool. I liked the Andrew Garfield. I liked all the Spider-Men. I preferred Andrew Garfield to Tobey Maguire because Tobey Maguire felt very like, even watching cutaway clips of the old Spider-Man, I think it was just the way he was acting. It's not that it was bad, but the way they all acted was quite stiff. Tobey Maguire didn't actually look like he didn't feel like a real person. He just felt like, he was just weird, like socially awkward, but not in a way where it was not like actual socially awkward. He just looked like he was acting poorly. That's all. So I like how in this one he seems a bit more fleshed out, more relaxed. He's a bit older now, so he doesn't have those same pressures of things have kind of gone well for him. He's with MJ, he's just seemed very mature. Like I like how even at the end of how he saved who did he save? Green Goblin. The way I like that it was him that did it. Though it would have made more sense if it was the other one as well, because Andrew Garfield he does say how after his girl died he stopped pulling his punches. So we don't know what that means. It could mean that he could have been killing people. He could have done a Batman and started shooting people.
I like his bit though
when he saved them.
That was a touching moment because he failed to save Gwen.
But at least he didn't web her like he did with Gwen.
Well, it's just like when he saves her, then he's like crying at the end because I didn't let her go as well. That was a touching moment.
It kind of makes you kind of want to see them come together again. That's how I felt like they need to do another one with them come together. But I know it's not going to happen.
Miles Morales.
The thing is, we know that that's not going to happen. But and it was funny actually. I was watching some other stuff, and because Miles Morales is in this universe, this new universe, and you see him referenced by what's it called, Childish Gambino.
Is it?
Childish Gambino is the Prowler basically.
Yeah.
So in the first film, Spider-Man basically approaches this black guy and webs his hand to the car. That's basically Miles. He says, "Oh, I have a nephew here."
Yeah, and then later on you see him.
Like that.
Later on you see him on the phone. He's like, "Oh, sorry, Miles, I can't make it today."
Oh shit! So Miles is in that. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that might be. He might come into the
but it's gonna be like way future.
It's gonna be the next phase, maybe the end of the next phase.
Spider-Man should be the actual Spider-Man that's there needs to be adult.
Should be. Because he needs to take someone under his wing as well. That would be really cool to see. So like did you notice Craven?
In the sky. Silhouette,
holding the spear,
Sky and Craven.
But who was the first one though?
I think that was Scorpion.
The Sky. No. Like when the spell first starts breaking at the beginning of the film, there's some massive silhouette, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
I don't remember.
I don't know what that is. I couldn't make it out. It's probably just a random silhouette, but I was just like, what the hell is that? But all the silhouettes, like the rhino and stuff, was really cool as well to see. And it was just touching the way it ended. Let's talk about the end of the film, I guess. When Doctor Strange is like, are you sure you want this? Because Doctor Strange can't stop them from coming through, and he's like, are you sure you want? Peter's just wipe everyone's memories every single person. And Doctor Strange is like, are you sure you want to do this? Because even Doctor Strange doesn't want to forget him.
Yeah, but it's just like, bruv, it's either that or everyone's the universe just smashes up. What kind of question is that?
It's just
like, he understands the consequence. Yeah. It's like, you'll be all alone, Maggie. Everyone will forget you.
Even he was shedding a tear like, goodbye.
Yeah, but it's not, to be fair, it's not that bad, because he could always just go to Doctor Strange and be like, yo, I'm Peter Parker.
This is what happened. You did so spell.
But you don't understand the consequence of this. Everything, like the Avengers, the slip, everything, all of those things are tied into him being Peter Parker. It's not just some random guy called Spiderman.
Yeah, no, but now, they all know of Spider-Man, though. That's the thing.
But they'll just see him as that random guy called Spiderman, not as
but then
this is the boy that got.
But that's what I'm saying. As far as him being a superhero, he could always just go to what's his name, Doctor Strange, and be like, yo, I'm actually Spider-Man. And my name is Peter Parker. It's not that he's going to remember everything else in regards to Peter Parker, but he would remember that he'd be like, okay, this guy is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's not
like in the end, he's just going to be, he's just not going to reveal it anyway.
Yeah, of course, he's not. He's just going to, it's just not, I think it just means that, like, all of those personal relations that they have with Peter Parker aren't going to be there. But that being said, I can't really remember through the films. I feel like it's only Avengers that you see that kind of Peter Parker just have a conversation with Strange, and even then, it's not really like a in-depth one. They just, like, so it's still kind of predicated on the fact that he's Spider-Man, not so much on him being Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So it's not, but I guess for Strange it's not that deep. But I guess obviously for Mary Jane, the girl that you love, and your best friend, it's a different situation.
And he's just
and like, Happy as well, because Happy's like I guess a surrogate father figure next to Tony Stark.
And no one knows who he is. No one knows who the hell he is. And he's just like,
he's broke, he's alone, he's Pete.
And he's the broke Spider-Man. It's just like he's just there. This is how it should be.
Yeah.
He's just there on his own now. He's had to grow up, and he's just like there on his own in this dingy apartment.
But all of them are broke, though. That's what's funny. Is that all of the Spider-Men are broke.
Did he get him to MIT at the end?
No, he didn't, because no one knows who he is. So he doesn't have.
No one knows who he is.
He doesn't have. Peter Parker essentially doesn't exist.
Yeah. So he's gonna have to.
But didn't you see the book that he's doing? He's doing his GED.
Oh,
so that's the after. That's which is sad for someone who is so gifted to have to do a GED, which essentially is why he's not going to be qualified. So he's going to end up being a photographer. He has to be a photographer because he has to make money.
For the Daily Bugle.
Yep. So I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see him working for Jameson, man.
Jameson,
It's like being a photographer for flipping, what do you call it? Infowars. Like, oh man, it's going to be so funny. But the fact, like, he's just like, despite all of that, he didn't throw the suit away. He's just like, he made the classic suit. Like, I was just like, like, he's actually, after seeing that, I'm just like, this guy is Spider-Man now. He's like become Spider-Man. If you see what I mean. Before it was just like the suits looked a bit weird on him, and it's just like he was always changing suit, and he never had time to kind of like sit in. But like the fact that he actually made the classic suit. And it's like really modernized. It's very shiny though. Like, I'm like, how did this guy make it with a sewing machine? But like he had to make his own suit from scratch using and this is what Spider-Man had to do. And he's still doing like looking at all the police alerts and stuff like that and swinging. I was just like,
it was a
this soft reboot that they did was chef kiss, man. It's just
they nerfed him again.
Yeah.
Like they're doing video games.
Yeah, it's just take away all your tech, take away everything.
Like how they nerf Kratos every game.
Yeah. Proper nerfed. Like this is like a reboot. Like it's a good reboot too. So I was very happy with that.
I'm happy. It was a very good. God, this film was good, man.
It's bloody good.
Consequences. That's the thing.
Consequences. That like your decisions, bro. Like, yeah. This nigga had to grow up, man. He just had to grow up, and in the most traumatic way ever. Post credits. Let's talk post credits. Both post credits. So first post credits.
This is the one that
this one Tega has issues with.
I don't have issues with it. They just have to explain it. No, they just
So
have
what
to
happened
explain
in the
it
post-credits?
because it
It's
doesn't.
a plot hole, fam.
It is a plot hole until they explain it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Well,
so the post credits is basically Venom from the Venom films. I haven't watched this, I don't really care. But like he's there and he's in a bar and he's actually all talking about, he's like, okay, so in this universe there's just loads of superheroes. There's a guy in an iron suit flying everywhere, and there's a guy that throws a shield, and there's a Spider-Man in this thing, and there's a purple alien, and he's just like, this is stupid. And the guy's just like, well, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to Peter. But then what happens? He vanishes. The symbiote was just like, I told you, blah blah blah. And then obviously the spell happens again, and then he vanishes again. Obviously goes back to his universe. And but when he vanishes, a little spludge of black symbiote, a little tiny little bit, is left on the table, and that's how that post credit ends. Which is really cool to see, because for me, I was just like, I'd like to see how the MCU would do the symbiote, rather than I haven't watched the other Venom films, but I don't really want to watch them because it just seems really weird. But I'd like to see how the MCU would do this. But Tega, you said it's a plot hole.
It is. There's a plot hole one way or the other, because if they have erased Peter Parker, well, actually, one question I have is that thing where they've erased Peter Parker. Does that also apply to the other universes as well? So,
No,
so
I don't think it would.
I mean, we don't know, but.
We don't know, but like,
But let's just
doubt it.
assume that they don't. Now, so my question is, so Venom knows who Peter Parker is. I guess the
symbiote
he
knows.
knows that of a Peter Parker, basically. Yeah. But when the mind got why did this Venom disappear as well? Is the first question I have
Because
to
he's
ask.
not part of that universe, right? So he gets.
Isn't it? Isn't it predicated on people knowing who Peter Parker is?
Exactly. So the symbiote knew who Peter Parker was.
Yeah. So then why did he disappear?
Because that spell applies to him. Like he didn't remember. It's for everyone who knew who Peter Parker was, that spell applied to. So they disappeared. They went back to their universes because
they don't know who Peter Parker is, right?
They no longer know who he is.
Yeah.
Well,
So then
we don't know if they no longer know who he is, but
well, they
just
don't
got sent back.
They just got sent back.
So would it be safe to say they don't know who this Peter Parker is, or otherwise
they know a Peter Parker. They know a Peter Parker. They know it's Peter Parker from their universe, or they're aware of a Peter Parker. So it doesn't have to be this Peter Parker.
But the thing that makes is a bit confusing is the symbiote knows that Tom Holland's that Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He doesn't just know a Peter Parker from an alternate universe.
It probably is an alternate universe, because when
he said,
I
know that
actually,
guy, and it wasn't all. He was maskless as well when he said, "I know that."
Yeah. Well, maybe it was just like, I know Spider-Man.
Yeah, but
Not
Spider-Man's not
necessarily
been
that guy.
Spider-Man isn't what's it called? Knowing Spider-Man is fine. It's knowing
Yeah,
Peter
he definitely
Parker.
knows Peter Parker because he was born from that universe.
Okay.
Yeah, so he knows him.
It's just
It's a bit. It's a time.
they're gonna have to explain that.
Timelines.
They probably
And
won't.
then even with that,
they have to do a symbiote. They have to do a symbiote arc.
but even with
would only
that,
makes sense.
so
if-
continue.
No,
No, I was just going to say, even with that, the symbiote and what's his name and Eddie Brock both went back to their universe. Shouldn't that have also applied to the Venom part that dropped off? Because it's not like they went through a portal.
Yeah.
They disintegrated and went back to their universe. So I don't understand how the Venom was still able to stay in the universe. And
I don't understand that either, but-
If every Venom within the multiverse is linked to a hive mind, then it makes sense if there's a Venom in that universe.
not necessarily. That's saying that there's a Venom in every universe.
That's what they implied, because
But then how can...
in the Venom 2 post credits, when they say, "Oh, I know that guy," and then they say something like, "Oh, we are all linked to whatever
Yeah, that's fine. You can all be linked, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a Venom in every universe, because we've also known that there isn't a Oscorp in every universe. So the universes are different. So there can be one in. I'm guessing there could be one in one universe and maybe skip a few, and then there's going to be, that's how I would assume it will be anyway.
Or maybe.
But regardless of that,
Venom can exist in every a Venom symbiote can exist in every universe. So
that's fine, but I still don't understand why the drop was able to happen. It doesn't make sense.
It's a little bit of a plot hole. They're gonna have to.
I mean, they'll explain it. Until they explain it, then it's. Let me not say it's a plot hole, but if they don't explain it, then yeah, it's a plot hole.
But why could they not? We don't know. I see you. They have to explain that.
And that's all I have for it. But I don't think I think that they will explain it.
Yeah, they must do, because that's gonna be the next part of whatever trilogy.
Yeah.
Happens to Tom Holland.
Yeah, man. And so, yeah, that was a good post credit as well. And then the second post credit is a full bloody trailer for Doctor Strange 2. I was
just happy we were able to see Shuma. Is it Shuma Gorath?
Yeah, Shuma Gorath. Yeah,
that's all I was happy about seeing.
It looked very weird, but
he looks
huge.
Also
seeing What If Doctor Strange. So.
Is he in the What? I haven't seen What If, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's worth watching. Yeah, then it will make sense. But that trailer is a good. It's a good trailer, because I remember them saying it has a lot of horror elements to it, and it looks like a psychedelic kind of thriller. Mordo's dreads are looking righteous, bruv. It's just looking bad long. I'm like, this guy's grown some long ass dreads. Makes me wonder if he was blipped or not. But if he was blipped, he wouldn't have grown all those dreads. The trailer looks really good. The guy's just like, I'm wondering when the trailer takes place, because it takes place after WandaVision.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange comes to Wanda. It's just like, oh, I need you. And then Wanda is just like, yeah, but is it because of what happened in Westview? And Doctor Strange is just like, I'm not here for what happened in Westview. So he knew, because we were asking the questions like, when the stuff in Westview was happening, where was Doctor Strange? So I guess they're going to talk about that. But I'm wondering, why is all this happening?
Why would he even be like? I haven't really finished WandaVision, but he's not Sorcerer Supreme anymore, so that.
But then why didn't Wong show up?
Maybe he might. He might have, or might be in the process. But I think right now Wong is in the process of doing something else, finding out about those 10 rings, beacons, or whatever they are. So, I mean, it's all eventually going to link. We just don't know how it's going to, but it's all going to link eventually. That thing of it being a beacon, what's that beacon for? Is it going to be a beacon for Galactus, and then it's somehow Fantastic Four or whatever? I'm still waiting. I just want to see an Easter egg for X-Men. That's all I want. That's what I'm waiting for.
I've been waiting.
We've been waiting for a while. I don't think it's going to come in this phase.
It'll be on the last film of this phase. What's next? We have what's next in this phase? This is phase 4, right?
It's Doctor Strange. Are they doing the Black Panther
and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Black
and
Panther
Thor
2
as well,
and Thor 3?
Quite a few. No, that's Thor 4.
Thor 4, yeah.
They've done Shang-Chi, they've done Eternals, and isn't there another? They've done Black Widow, and the TV series stuff.
Yeah. And there's Spiderman. So I'm now if they the caliber of this film, bro. The Spider-Man film, it's just can't all the films just be this good?
I think they can only really make, and see what I like. Another reason I like this film is that they didn't make it like, oh, this is gonna save the Earth type thing. Like with Eternals, they made, I don't know, man. Eternals just seems so far removed from everything else, because it's just like they made they made like it one of those high stakes things that didn't seem like it was a high stakes thing anyway. Because those deviants didn't really seem like they could be taken out by pretty much anyone. Anyone else could have really taken them out.
Did a mad week in it.
They just seemed like Anyhow, I don't know how they're gonna try and link Eternals to anything. The only thing that makes them interesting now to me, it was their link with, mutants or blah blah blah. Now it's just
But they didn't even
talk about that.
anything
So
with that.
it's only their link with Thanos.
It was quite a
now.
missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's interesting about them is that they're linked with Thanos.
Yeah.
And Thanos is dead now, so it's just like, even the way he died was a bit like, it takes a bit more than that to kill Thanos.
Well, it was a whole
the
Infinity
second one.
Stones though.
Yeah, true.
Like the first time they cut his head off,
Second
that's
time we just
that's pretty foolproof. But
turned into dust.
the
Whilst
dust
he
dead
just-
him.
Why he just sat down and
Just sat down, like, well,
he had lost. He had been defeated.
That's it. So yeah.
Thanos was a menace, man. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I remember when they were talking about aliens.
Yeah, that was a
Three
good deal.
Spider-Man with. Oh, that was funny. The whole dialogue between three of them was just so funny. It was just like, yeah, there's an alien. He was like he was like black. And then we had an alien. He was purple. and Andrew was just like, wait, what aliens? We have
Aliens
aliens.
went to space. There's so much to cover in this film.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it
don't
goes to
have
show
enough time to cover all of that.
how different each of the universes are, because you just really see from the MCU one that like it's so like fantastical. It has everything. You have it just has so much. Whereas the other two are just like, oh yeah, it's only us. We're the only heroes in the thing. The other ones seem more grounded in reality, even though it's still crazy, but
They
it's just
didn't
more.
have the budget for this space stuff, space exploration.
Yeah, it's true. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
it just is what it is.
yeah.
When they made the Spider-Man film, they were just thinking about, we're just making the Spider-Man film. We're not really going to link him with anything else.
Yeah.
It's recently that they've had this idea for like crossovers, and it's working.
Yeah, it's done
working,
really well.
so-
It's because they laid the groundwork and now they can do it and it just feels natural. Whereas with like DC, they tried to rush it and it just didn't. They didn't do the groundwork very well.
It's that one guy, that one director tried to rush it, bro.
Yeah,
I'm so annoyed. When you really think about what Justice League could have been,
it could have been so good,
like even like that. When you watch the Zack Snyder cut, you're just like, you guys really. How did you do this? How did you let it get to this? And the sad thing is that they all knew when they were releasing the film, like people were just like, "This is crap," like this is crap, but they still released it anyway. This is what happens with investors and all of that. The sad thing is because they made their money back, they still made money off of it, but they just Warner Brothers, man. I don't know where I'm going from.
They've killed that whole.
The thing is,
Snyderverse.
they haven't exactly, because what they're doing Flashpoint.
They should just reset everything with Flashpoint.
With Flashpoint,
reset everything.
What they do really well, I guess, and I haven't watched any of the DC TV stuff, but they have kind of linked them a bit. So that's what they're going to do with the Flashpoint. So with that, at least they have they can get on and do a fresh start.
Yeah, just delete everything, bruv. Recast everyone. I don't care about any of these actors anymore. Recast everyone. Just do something completely new, fresh.
Nah, man. What they
and
did
do
with
it properly.
Cyborg was so bad. What they did with Flash and Cyborg was so bad. And then that Wonder Woman film, Jesus Christ. Both films were so... Some people liked the first one. I didn't like the first one. But that second one was horrendous.
Oh, which one?
The Wonder Woman film, the second Wonder Woman film.
Oh yeah, that 1980. Bro, I was telling you guys, I was watching it and I was begging you. I was like, please, I need to just end it now because I know we had to review it, but honestly, I wanted to just switch it off. It was so.
It's horrible. It's so horrible. But yeah, let's finish it. Let's finish it there. Up until the next. Can't wait for the next Marvel film now. Like
What is the next one again?
hyped.
Oh, it's the Doctor Strange. Is that next year?
I don't know when that's. No, I don't know actually. When's someone? Can someone Google it quickly? Because we're just at the beginning, bruv. Like it might be.
Or
Maybe it will be Doctor
it's between,
Strange,
I think
'cause-
it's Doctor Strange because we've had a proper trailer for that now. And
Yeah,
Thor-
because we
for
haven't
Thor,
had a
still
trailer
haven't-
for anything else.
Yeah, so
but we
this-
know who's like casted in Thor and stuff like that. But like, we have no like I don't know what the next film is.
Next is Multiverse of Madness. After that, it's
Okay.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
I'm looking forward to that, man. I'm looking forward to Multiverse of Madness. Like, it looks mad, isn't it? It just looks mad.